Greetings and salutations, I'm Kev. Welcome to this new Let's Play of Predynastic Egypt, which is a rather funky little game that has occupied a lot of my time in the last few days, because I've been trying to pursue a game on the highest possible difficulty in this game, and I did achieve that, and we're not going to play anything like that at all. We're going to be playing on the absolute beginner bonuses, and the reason why I'm not playing the campaign I did on the hardest possible settings is simply because in order to beat the game with a perfect score in the highest difficult settings, you pretty much have to cheat. You have to do a hell of a lot of save reloading, you have to have a very specific map, and yeah, it's not really entertaining to watch. It's not a dynamic gameplay, so that's not really what I want to play here. Instead, I just want to go achievement hunting, basically. So then, what are these difficulty settings of ours? It basically, you're allowed in the game. In the game, you are in control of a tiny little tribe. You are going to set out to create the foundation for Egypt, more or less. So you're not going to be around for the monuments, you're not going to be around for the pyramids, anything like that. This is before that. So you start as a hunter-gatherer tribe and you just set up your first little city and try to establish the realm of Egypt. And some of the basic technologies. No more than that. So again, it is pre-dynastic, so it's not. It does not involve the big monuments. At any rate, it does involve quite a few things anyway, and there are quite a few challenges you have to pass during the play. And yeah, the difficulty settings you pick will drastically impact your ability to get things done. So we'll start with the first thing here. Who are our ancestors? So you can either be creators, so that'll give us a much more production. Yeah, 30% extra production, which is quite significant. Or the intermediate choice, you get a little bit extra score for that, and your army grows a bit faster because you're warriors. Or we could be sages, which will give you a detriment, much less culture development. Culture in this game is basically technology, so that's your science. How did we get here? We're gonna start with this, obviously. Resettlement. Well prepared, settled land. So all our workers, all our buildings will be a lot cheaper, which is a super bonus. Or we can go with just wanderers. That gives nothing, good or bad. Or we can come in as a pure surviving tribe, stumbling around, and you're gonna get the opposite of the one up here. And that's rather painful, to be honest. 10% extra. Environment. This basically controls the map. So you could either have this stuff here, lots of extra resources on the map, or you have pretty much nothing. It's pretty basic, or the map is pretty much basically worse than the average, and it's very difficult to get around on poor ground, to be honest. Though I have to say, of all the negative things, this is probably the one that's the hardest to deal with. At least if you save reload. We'll get to that in a second. What spirits live here? So we can have this controlled random event, basically. So good events happen more often than bad, and enemy armies are weaker. Or it's the basic default one, which is neutral. Or you can go with evil gods, and they'll pretty much all events will be bad, which is very, very obnoxious unless you accept it. You can save reload, because then you can just, even if you can get a bad event, you can make sure you get the better, the lesser evil event, so to speak. There are quite a few of those. And should immediately warn you the whole thing about random events and stuff like that. This game is what I call pseudo-random, because all events, even the random events, will happen at specific turns. So if you've played the game a couple of times, you'll know the exact turns when everything will happen. You don't know the exact outcome of the random event, but you know that on this and that turn there will be a random event, and I'll have to deal with it. That sort of thing. And there are also a whole bunch of scripted events which are also tied to the turns. So again, you can pretty much map out what's going to happen. At any rate, we are going to be playing the absolute beginner stuff, because I'm pursuing some really obnoxious achievements that don't involve difficulty setting. So, with all that said, let's start the game. And we do not want to play the tutorial. So, there's very little for us to do here. Mission colonization. We came from a larger tribe that suffered from overpopulation. We left our homes and are looking for happiness in the new lands. To get a foothold in a new place, we need to increase the size of the tribe. Goal: increase the tribe to 3 workers. And now this is the thing here. Bonus, hunting +1. This bonus applies until we achieve the goal. It's not a bonus for completing the goal. That is something that's not quite clear in this game, but this is the same for all the bonuses you get. You get them while you have the event. So, the second we grow our tribe to 3 workers, we're going to have less food from hunting. Which is worth knowing. So, we're going to just put our idle worker into hunting. And go next turn. So, we start in 5000 BC. Let's see, mission colonization, yes, we are a primitive tribe. So, we have no bonuses. Our tribe is still in the primitive state of development, it's nomadic. And survives mostly by hunting and gathering. We live in temporary huts. Yeah, for further development we should discover Badari culture, so we get no bonuses. That's the only indication of that, how the bonus system actually works. So we're gonna start exploring. It'll take 1 turn, it'll eat the 1 food we just harvested. And that should reveal a new and better tile. And we will have to farm that. And now we're gathering. And we're growing food. And as you can see, we suddenly got the option to explore more. We are not gonna do that, I think. Or are we? Actually, yes we are, now that I think about it. I want to explore this. Because I think, since we're playing on an easier difficulty setting, there should be more food there. At least I hope so. There is. Good. So we're going to gather food. That's going to grow our tribe a little bit faster. And now we get the first discovery. We now have access to text. We are going to go with Cult of the Falcon, I think. Because that's going to give us even more culture. There we go. We discovered Culture of the Falcon. Hunters noticed that the falcon is a very skilled predator, incredibly fast, precise and strong. Respect for this bird eventually grew into veneration. People began to pray to the falcon for luck in the hunt. And as you can see, we've gotten more resources up here. We have population cap, we have food, we have production, and we have culture. So we are not going to do anything else now. We're just going to grow food. We're going to try to grow the tribe. And we are not hunting at all. Let's see, we now have more cultures, we can get another discovery. We're going to go with experimental breeding. Let's see. Okay, discovered experimental breeding. Sometimes hunters bring wild sheep and goats to the settlement. For years the animals remained half wild and did not breed in captivity. Feeding the lambs and kids from the first day solved the problem. So now we're going to get 1 extra food every turn. And by the way, these numbers will scale rather rapidly as we advance in turns. I think the game lasts something like 220 turns or so. At any rate, we're going to create another worker. We can now, so we have food. There we go, we completed our mission. Our tribe has successfully multiplied and securely populated the new land. And goal achieved, increase the tribe to 3 population, reward a 1-time +5 food. New mission, Neolithic Revolution. Our gatherers have noticed that grains will accidentally fall on fertile soil, which accidentally fall on fertile soil, sprout plentiful shoots. It will be interesting to see if we'll be able to repeat this and get more food. Goal, discover experimental farming and build fields of grain in 2 areas. And until we complete that, our buildings are going to be cheaper. Again, the bonus applies while the mission endures. That requires us to have some hammers, which we do not have. Yeah, that's true. So we have some options. We can grow that production and try to pursue that mission, or we can start exploring a bit. I think we're going to do the latter. Do some exploration. And since we know enough text, we can get the domestication of dogs, which we're immediately going to go for. Dogs were the first friends of man. The Egyptians were impressed by their ability to track and smell danger. Dogs were used for hunting, guarding homes, and they were very respected. Egyptians believed that after death, dogs served people as guides in the realm of the dead. Scouting duration will now go 1 turn faster, so we'll be able to explore a lot faster. That's why we wanted to start exploring a little bit. Okay, that one is a much better tile. We're gonna work on that. We found nothing over there. Actually, yes, we did find a worker. So we got one extra. Scouts came across friendly nomads. They fell to talking and found that the affairs of the nomads were going badly. The nomads have decided to join us. So now we got one extra person. Now all people will require more food, so we will try to grow the tribe a little bit more. Merimde culture. In 4800 BC, to the north of us, in the delta of the Nile, light-skinned people have appeared. They have made great strides in agriculture, breeding cattle, and they are able to mold pots and to build houses. They are ahead of us in development. And that's basically a random, a historical event, which basically gives us some information on what's going on in the rest of Egypt. Because we're just in a tiny little town of Hierakonpolis. So let's see here. Yeah, Neolithic. We also got the victory conditions map here. 220 turns, yes, indeed. And these are some goals we have to achieve in order to get there. But we're in no particular hurry for that. Okay, new discovery. We are gonna go with cattle, I think. Yes. Discovered cattle. Of all the animals the Egyptians tried to domesticate, the cow became the most valuable acquisition and gave people lots of meat, milk and hides. Cows in Egypt have enjoyed a well-deserved respect and love. 1 extra food per turn, which is good. And every time we make another worker, they're gonna cost more. And here's our first random event. The greening of the Sahara. Abundant rains watered the savannah and it has blossomed. The rejuvenated Sahara shines green and is full of living creatures. Hunting, gathering, farming and cattle breeding plus 1 food for 4 turns. So as you can see, we're now gaining a lot more food from all our tiles. There is now some extra food on these 2 tiles. I do not want to harvest that. I want to finish exploring. When you explore territories, there is a chance that you get resources. Okay, well, there we go. A hostile tribe. This is scheduled event. Scouts from a hostile tribe were spotted near our settlements. They have not decided what to do with us yet, but nothing good will come from such neighbors. New threat available. Probability of attack. Let's see, we found 3 production over there. And we're gonna go for this square. For a very specific reason. At any rate, we have access to new techs. I think we're gonna go with weaving. Let's see, discovered weaving. The technology of weaving from a variety of natural materials made life easier for the Egyptians. Mats of reeds covered the walls and floors of their homes, and these mats were also used in funeral rites. Baskets and chests were woven from the branches of vines. 1 production per every turn. So our next discovery is going to be on the farming thing, but for now... And let's see the growing threat. We can finish that pretty soon. The myth about the ancestor falcon. Many generations have passed since our tribe began to honor the falcon. Even the elders can no longer remember how it all started, but people believe that the great falcon Horus founded our tribe and was our ancestor. 1 time plus 4 culture, which is good. So now we can discover experimental farming. Let's see. Gatherers apparently noticed that a seed dropped on the ground will germinate. So after successful experiments with wheat and barley, farming appeared. Ability to build field of grain. And we also have enough food to build another worker, which we're gonna do. And we're immediately gonna start construction of that field of grain. Which is gonna cost 4 production per turn for 2 turns. And since we now are 5 people, we've also eliminated the first growing threat, but now we got to get a second one. And this is one of the tribe events. It's also a random event. Scouts report that our neighbors, the Dunpan tribe, considers us weak and gathers warriors to burn our settlements, but they still can change their mind. became friends with them, or increase the type to 6 population. Okay, and you have 9 turns to do that. And there's the end of the greening of the Sahara. But we also finished construction of the fields. Now we can keep building fields. There's yet another area. And we're going to do that as well. This is this area. And after that we'll have to start exploring a bit, I think. There we go. We explored a hill of sandstone. There we go. Climbing the high stony hill, our scouts found samples of hard stones, and looking around for the heights, they could examine in detail neighboring lands. 6 hammers, and we got some maps of the neighboring region. And you're gonna start working that immediately, so we're gonna get tons of production. And that means we can start doing some exploration. Some rather cautious exploration, actually. Let's see now. Yeah. And I'm not going to finish it. I'm just going to go 1 turn in for a good reason. We'll get to that in a moment. As for these things, we are going to go with early rituals, I think. Discovered early rituals. People believed in the divine powers long before the era of the ancient Egyptians, but with the advent of the Neolithic, the rituals became much more complicated. The first priests appeared, and people believed that only they know all the secret prayers and rituals. Cults menu is now available, and growth of +1 authority every turn. So now we got a new resource, authority. And that's all the resources we have in the game. So we still need to grow out the tribe 1 more. 26 food. Yeah, we might have trouble doing that, actually. Maybe I should focus on making sure that we get enough food. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, actually. And the cults menu is now available. So we have the ability to start things. I am not gonna do that. Because we want to save our authority. There we go. Mission completed. So, we now know the secret of farming. It's a breakthrough. We can spend less time hunting and gathering, and we can grow food by ourselves. Yeah, 1 time +10 food. Mission, permanent housing. We know the secret of farming. Grow food and can feed the tribe. It is time to build a settlement and start to settle. Increase the tribe to 8 people. And during this time, worker creation price goes down 20%. So now I'm suddenly glad I didn't increase the tribe last time. But we still need to build more homes in order to sustain our people. So that's gonna have to wait a little while. Build the field of grain. Do I want to recruit you now and stop this threat? Quite possibly. Let's see. I want to build the homes, which is going to take a bit more tech. Yeah, let's end that threat. Threat is passed 1 time minus 50% attack probability. Grow more food. You're going to explore 1 turn. And then move on. Alright, I forgot that bit. Oops, overpopulation. We are now over the cap, so we're going to get a reduction. Food production. 20% is lost every single turn. Oops. And Elomari culture. In 4600 BC to the north of us, in the delta of the river Nile, another culture has appeared, related to the Merimde culture. Their settlements are not as large, but they are not inferior to us in development. Okay, I made a mistake there to grow them. I should have waited. Ah, well. Now, the reason I'm not exploring more than 1... Oh, dear. Okay, new god. Besides Horus, our priests suggest that we begin honor and make sacrifices to a new fish god. It will become an additional burden, but the god will help us for certain. What will we decide? So basically we can trade food for culture growth. I think we're gonna go for it. New god. We agreed to the priest's proposal and began to make regular sacrifice to the fish god. Maybe it will help us, as well as the falcon, with our affairs. So we're trading 3% of our food for 10% of culture. That isn't particularly significant at this point, but it will be eventually. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing just these half explorations of each tile, that's because the reward you get from exploring a tile will increase over time. So exploring it later would be better. And plus, the next bonus, once we actually complete this, is an exploration bonus. So by half exploring them, we'll instantly discover all of them. So that's what we're gonna do. We're still waiting for the tech for housing. There we go, finally. The growth of the cult of the falcon. Thanks to our wisdom, your wisdom, our tribe grows and develops. Rumors about it spread, and people say that the Sky Falcon himself helps us. Neighboring tribes have heard about his miracles and have begun to honor him as well. +6 culture, 1 time. Okay, now we're gonna go with primitive dwellings. I need to build them ASAP. So we can get the population limit under control. 3 turns. Let's see, and we're gonna have to explore. Wait. Yeah, right, 2 turns. So 1 turn on this one. In case you're wondering, it's half of the time rounded down. So exploring 3, they want with 3 times. They want with 3 turns for exploration. You can need only 1 turn of exploration done. The one with 7 needs 3 turns. One with 5 needs 2, and so on. We're just gonna explore all these areas and find various things. And we are not gonna do much of anything, I think. Okay, you finished exploring there. Or rather, explore as much as we're gonna. Explore 2 turns on that one. We don't have enough food though. You know what, you're gonna go over here. I think we have more than enough production. We need more food. Can get another worker. I'm not gonna do that until the housing is done. Let's see. Need to be a couple of turns there and a couple of turns here. We now have a population limit. I can increase the tribe. You are gonna go and work. Yeah, you know what? You can build another field of grain. Should have the hammers for it. And after this, we'll have to start saving up for the first big trial, which I believe starts at turn 32. We shall see. We need how much food for the next one? 21. So that's gonna take a couple of turns and then some. There we go, you get the warning. 5 turns before the trial of the Sanctuary Falcon. The game will warn you before every other big trials, but on some of the trials you really need these resources much earlier. Yeah. It's gonna get interesting. More turn. No need to explore that one any further. Go and start build hammers. We have enough tech to go get another thing. I don't know if we need this just yet. Bandari culture is probably more interesting for us. We need more food. And I believe that was the next limit here as well. Yes. So I think we're gonna save our resources, because we can't actually build a field of flax yet, because we need to discover these areas down here to do that. So, onwards, I think. Okay, we should have grown a new field. And you're gonna farm that. You just finished exploring that. You're gonna go here and build. So now we're just gathering every resource that we possibly can. And hopefully we'll be able to get this next turn. Let's see, yeah, built field of grain. Improves that area by +2. So, next turn. Now we have enough to complete our mission. There we go, mission completed. Our tribe thanks and praises you. The settlement thrives and the fame of your deeds spreads around the region. One-time bonus of 20 food and 30 production. Of course, now the bonus changes. Mission: explore the region. According to the stories of the travelers in this district, there are many interesting places. It is time to actively engage in scouting and expand our territory. Goal: scout 48 nearby areas, already explored 11. Scouting duration -50%, resources from scouting +30%. This is why we waited. So basically what you'll see here, all the areas that we've scouted halfway will now be completely finished, and whatever we find there, we'll get 30% more of it. So yeah, if we find anything. It's not a given. It won't list the resources until all the discoveries are done. So, we'll know soon enough, I guess. There we go. We found Island. 42 culture. Scouts came to the big island in the middle of the floodplain. The land area is never flooded with water and is suitable for colonization. But it seems that someone already lives there. And more land. Let's see, I also found 8 production. A small settlement, another 8 production. This would have been, what, 5 production without that. We found the goat tribe. Someone natives already live there. And we found some extra production as well. So we have some neutral tribes over there. A neutral tribe here. And we can easily explore more territory now, rather quickly too. So we're gonna do that. And yeah, we need to stockpile resources now, because we do have an impending trial. I think we're gonna go with the Badari culture. Though cosmology could be interesting too. Yeah, let's go with Badari culture. That was one of the achievements or requests we had over here. There we go, discovered Badari culture. To store food longer, the Egyptians invented pottery. The first pottery was baked directly in a fire, so it had a red color and burnt black top, characteristic of the Badari culture. The first settled culture of the Egyptians. 1 extra food per turn, and we're now a community of farmers. Which means our tribe is a group of people of equal status, mainly farmers and cattle farmers, where the woman takes a special and honorable role, the mother and keeper of the hearth. Bonus, 10% extra culture every turn. So until the next level, we at least get that culture bonus, which is rather nice. And it is starting to apply. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here, and we'll continue growing Egypt and face our first trial next time. Thank you for watching.